tournament.
Yeah.
You know, with no disrespect to either of them, you know, going into the next lower bracket final, they might be fighting for 3rd place here. But no, even that by itself is a major accomplishment for either of these guys. So here we go.
This is it, guys. This is Kilson versus ZeRo4 here, the final day of QuakeCon 2016. We're on Kilson's perspective. Red has already been fought for by ZeRo4, and he's going to be taking another major item. Kilson, there we go, gets his railgun where he's going to try and begin business. And ZeRo4 definitely going to be very conscious that Kilson is going to be going for a lot of those angles. Tiny bit of splash damage. Nothing too much for him to worry about. That rocket hurt a little bit more, and Yellow's going to have to be taken. I think it was ZeRo4 going to give up control.
I really appreciate how calm and collected Kilson's been here so far. Before taking over that red armor, he was just looking like, all right, I'm down here, but I'm going to hurt you every time you poke out. And my God, these rails really going to be punishing to ZeRo4 if he does end up going into this mega. But Kilson decides to go in close range, and with 8 health, buys himself the first frag. But unless he can recover here quickly, ZeRo4 might be able to turn that right back around with machine gun even. There's no 50 health. Kilson has very few resources. Those 225s are going to be the best source of health on the map right now, and ZeRo4 is not going to let him get close to them. But again, look at how calm Kilson is. He's just looking for these rail angles. He goes, oh, there you are. Yeah.
Where's the 50?
And ZeRo4 should be trapping this, really.
Yeah, he's got to be going for it. I don't think he may be able to guess that Kilson already has healthed up from that. But these big items are about to spawn. Kilson is still not in great stead, but his rail has just been doing so much work for him. Through the teleporter, 2 rails landed. He's going to be honing in on that red armor now. ZeRo4 does take it pretty well and doesn't take an additional rail. So maybe he's going to be able to hold up the control a little further as he's taken all the 3 big items on the map.
I don't want to switch away from Kilson here just because even out of position, he's just waiting for ZeRo4 to run to these rails, but unfortunately the rockets are going to be weakening Kilson quite a bit. He's now railable, but he's really denying a lot of ZeRo4's ability to go in on him. But there it is, tying it up one-on-one. ZeRo4 finding Kilson on the spawn as well. It's going to turn into a frag and red armor control as well.
Lovely combat skills there from ZeRo4. His forward-backward dodge there. Not taking a single bit of damage from Kilson in that engagement. He finds a good rocket on Kilson and put him down in the pit. There's lots of free damage for him, and ZeRo4 going to be able to extend his lead here.
It's exactly what he needed there, just because Kilson was looking so scary with those rails, but now he's got him up against the ropes a little bit. He's going to be able to take away the 50, but ZeRo4 still has priority on the red armor, not even going to take too much damage there. And so he can look for another fight, but he's going to make sure to deny as many of the items on the map as possible. Just starve Kilson out before cornering him.
He's playing Kilson so well. He knows that that mega wasn't taken still. He's going to grab it himself. Kilson never grabbed it. That was a shocking error.
And nothing from the rockets. It's going to be a rail out of the teleporter, but ZeRo4 is on the chase. The knockback from those rails is going to keep him at arm's length for just a second, but not long enough to prevent ZeRo4 from getting 4th and 5th frag.
This is very dominant from ZeRo4. He's sticking his claim here, but he's just pushed off of the red armor with a good rocket from Kilson. He's got no more LG ammunition. Can he prevent the German from getting into that red? Looks like a no. Kilson does what he needs to get a bit of control here on Hektik.
So ZeRo4 taking quite a bit of damage there, but he's trying to remind Kilson that this is his house. And even with the damage off of the mega, ZeRo4 is looking for a way in and to get a little bit of a hit himself, but he's not going to get it. It's going to be Kilson getting priority here, but it's a little bit of time before the items come back up, so he's going to be a sitting duck up here. Unfortunately, unless ZeRo4 can get in on these rails, he's not going to be able to punish him too much. Kilson now looking to reassert himself here.
Nice 2 rails so far. This is very solid here from the American. And Kilson backs off for the yellow armor. Is this going to give a chance for ZeRo4 to pick up a couple of more useful weapons? Not sure if he went and got the lightning gun.
Nice.
What a shot through the teleporter. He's got the mega spawning right now. He does take a rail, but he should be able to get through this teleporter comfortably and try and challenge for this red armor. He's not able to get the damage, though. 11 health left on Kilson. He's going to look for the 50. The machine gun. He switches to the rail instead, and he's going to be able to re-extend that lead a little further. Very well managed.
Both of their rails have been incredibly solid here, but the pace is not going to slow down here at any moment. Kilson's still looking for 3 frags, and they can come very quickly here on Hektik. Oh, jeez, especially with that LG. That health recovery just barely keeping ZeRo4 alive here, but he's going to be very, very weak. But there's the rail to turn that severe disadvantage into a more comfortable lead. Oh, jeez, and the rail around the corner as well.
What a play!
Cannot miss.
This is incredible from ZeRo4. His 57% rail is working wonders for him, but he's been under quite consistent amount of pressure, not really able to get those that massive stack running, which is good for Kilson as well, because if someone's getting a 200-200 here on a Hektik, then yeah, you really need to sort your life out.
I wonder if I wonder if there were a lot of lessons from the tournament day here, where we saw a lot of very low-scoring maps, even on a map like Hektik. And I think a lot of players learned at that point that they have to commit to some of these situations. They have to actually get the frags to give themselves a little bit of a comfort level. And you know, so far in these lower bracket games, we've seen a lot more aggression out of every player.
Awesome rail there from Kilson. See if he can lay down the pressure a little bit more. I think ZeRo4 is probably going to be railable at this point, but Kilson can't seem to string together that final shot. ZeRo4 knows exactly where he is, but he can't land it. Red is going to be taken. His stack is looking amazing, and he is actually going to be getting that 200-200 in the moment if he chooses to go through the teleporter.
They're both looking for each other up top there, but it's going to be Kilson getting a clean mega before coming back up top map, almost finding ZeRo4 at the rail spawn.
How many missed rails have we had from Kilson in the last?
This has been a bit of a whiffy minute. Yeah.
I think ZeRo4 is going to be happy to try and play this slow, but it is very difficult to play slowly on Hektik. Rocket doing a bit of damage. He is continuing to pile the pressure on the red. ZeRo4, again, he knows exactly what to do with this map. The pressure of the rail, make sure that Kilson is not infinitely stacked all the time. He lands one more shot. There's 2 frags between them, but ZeRo4 is doing what he needs to in order to stop Kilson from having overwhelming control.
Denying the pickup of the mega as well, so Kilson, instead of being at 25 health, can be a little bit better off. You can actually go grab this yellow armor at will, but he knows that red's going to be up, and ZeRo4 is going to have his sights on it if Kilson decides to leave it up. So this is actually kind of mean from Kilson, making him choose between 2 really bad situations and punishing him no matter which way he goes.
Oh, beautiful what a rail. That's going to tie things up between Kilson and ZeRo4. And I wanted to say before, though, actually, wow. Just going to walk into those rockets. What ZeRo4 has been doing has been very smart. Even though he's investing frags, he's making sure that Kilson's not fully stacked, but he's not able to reap the benefits and get control afterwards, or even get the kill to begin with. Red is up in a second. He's going to be chasing him through. Maybe Kilson's going to regret this. ZeRo4 can't land that final rail to bring himself back in the game. A lot of armor for Kilson. Not so much health right now, but maybe ZeRo4's got enough resources that he can stand his own ground a little bit. Maybe he wants to delay Kilson somewhat and try and get this red for himself.
My heart always just sinks when I see a 50 go away to somebody that weak so cheaply. ZeRo4 had no pressure on Kilson as he was able to circle around the map, completely get around him, but the rocks are good, and there's the pop and the lock with the rail. ZeRo4 down to 26 health, but there's the red armor to give him a little bit of a breathing room. Mega's going to be back up. It's probably going to be too risky for him to take at this point, but he's going to be depending on the fact that Kilson probably doesn't have the weapons to really punish him just yet.
Yeah, Kilson, he's not able to get up in his face at this point.
Which is funny because there's weapons all over the map. We just saw like 2 rails all over, but oh, nice. Once again, getting a very low HP frag. He's going to be weak here, needs to avoid this machine gun, but now he's stuck in it. He cannot get away.
Not able to do anything at that point. He doesn't give away the rail straight away, which is something small they can at least be slightly happy about, but he's going to walk right into the LG and just 100% shaft in his back.
Needed to look both ways before he crossed that street, so that's going to give him a 2-frag lead here for Kilson. And he's still doing a lot of damage on ZeRo4 as he's just trying to get away and get some weapons. It's not going to happen. Oh, even denying 25 bubbles.
Well, ZeRo4 is still been landing some good rails, so Kilson's control is not 100% secure by any stretch of the imagination.
No,
ZeRo4, is he going to be able to land a shot and prevent Kilson from getting across? Not quite. He goes for the air rocket. Extremely optimistic play, but it definitely would have worked. If he connected, then maybe he would have got the red himself.
If he had hit the rockets, yes, it would have worked. All right, but Kilson 100-100 now. There's been a lot of fights over that green armor even, but he knows that ZeRo4 is going to be looking for blood here down below.
This is
yeah, they stopped going through that teleporter so quickly. They're making much more use of the stairs now. They've been hit so consistently coming out of that teleporter. They're just not willing to risk it anymore. But final minute, 4 frags for ZeRo4 to pick up.
Let's go over to ZeRo4's point of view and see what he's able to do. Having no control on the map right now, it makes things overwhelmingly difficult. He's got to rely on getting one of these next major items and something to happen after that. But he takes 1 rail. This might be shut down by Kilson already. Wow, the reactions from Kilson there were just unbelievable.
1 frame link rails, but that was a fantastic rocket. Kilson can still recover on that red, but those 2 rails, I think those have been the last 2 nails in his coffin.
Ah, fantastic play. They've called GG already, so we are going to get 16-10 in favor of Kilson on map 1. That was ZeRo4's pick, and he did show us a fantastic start to the game. He held the lead for quite a long time, but he just wasn't able to get that consistent damage throughout the entire map. It only lasted for that period of time.
It was
See,
very
1,500 less damage from ZeRo4 versus Kilson in the end, and that's the second half of the game, really, in a nutshell.
Absolutely, and it just shows how much of a gentleman that Kilson is, that he didn't say that's how you do it.
I think for everyone who gets it, that's when he made a 14-frag comeback.
Yeah,
ZeRo4 versus Destruct.
It was like his first map back in Quake Live. It was his first tournament back in Quake Live, I think.
ZeRo4 should still be happy with what he did there. Showed a very good game, but he's going to have to continue doing that. I think a lot of people were surprised. It's going to sound very rude for me, but some people may have thought that he was, cannon fodder in this tournament. Obviously, Sparty is missing from the top 4 when he was seeded that way. Phrase, who was doing very strongly, narrowly missing in that loser bracket match. But ZeRo4 is definitely showing that he is on par with Kilson. He just needs to land himself a slightly more favorable couple of fights to get a victory.
Well, we are potentially going to downshift here quite a bit as we move into Cure, just because there's very little reason to have a first-minute frag. You have spawns at opposite ends, taking away Yellow and Mega, and Red and Rockets respectively. But with ZeRo4 getting pushed up against the wall like this and sticking it out with the LG, it looks like they might want this first frag to happen very quickly. ZeRo4 pushing in for that second red armor. Kilson down to 38 health, but he can recover on the 50 as Mega comes up. This is ZeRo4's time to deny that pickup. Oh, but he's in a bad spot, and that rocket is going to shut him out from that fight. Yeah,
that made him railable, and as soon as ZeRo4 noticed that, he's like, I'm not being a part of this anymore, but he can't hit the rockets, and Kilson continues to string together those rails, putting him in the lead at the beginning of map 2.
All right, so Kilson can now take a free red armor, and that puts ZeRo4 in a bad situation. There's nothing really he can take for the next several seconds, so he's going to be looking for some damage on Kilson, but Kilson pretty much has the run of the map for a little while here. And that means that, yeah, he can start denying some of these smaller items as well. There's fairly tight timing between the Mega and the Red, so as Kilson comes from Mega to Red, ZeRo4 might have something up his sleeve, but he's going to have to be very conservative about it.
I think ZeRo4's just playing on the greens and the shards right now. I mean, there's enough of them around the map that you can make something work from it, but Kilson has had everything. I wonder, though, if we didn't really see ZeRo4 at all. I wonder if he had his sort of head around a corner, trying to get some of the timings on the big items. He's been pretty sneaky, and you have to be at this point.
This is actually good because he knows that he has time right now. So Kilson's going to keep running the yellows, but unless Kilson starts delaying the timing here, oh, a nice grab coming out of Kilson as ZeRo4 goes in for a red armor steal, but can he get out of here alive? That Mega is waiting for either Kilson or ZeRo4 to recover on, which means that whoever takes this frag is going to be able to have a very secure stack for a little while, and it's going to be Kilson there.
Yeah, ZeRo4 was just completely trapped at that point. He was trying to dummy his way out, but to no avail. ZeRo4 going to run over to that yellow armor. Kilson realizing he's a little bit too late to put pressure on it, and he's going to put himself up back to a Titan stack, and just switch his weapon away before he could land a bit of extra damage. ZeRo4 needs to completely avoid receiving any damage if he wants a chance for his control to even contest Kilson's stack.
So we need to start seeing ZeRo4 around some of these corners, hitting some of these rails, but right now it's Kilson who's looking for those pot shots, and he's not getting punished for it. So another free Mega health red armor. We've seen ZeRo4 push in on red armor just like, oh, I'm going to take this now, and I'm going to get out of it somehow, but twice now he hasn't. Nice.
Oh, wow.
Geez, that second rocket.
Yep, you've got to rewind a little bit there, ZeRo4, and you're back to playing quietly around the map. He's gone for the 50 health bubble. He's got a good rocket. He can't get up the stairs at all. Don't know if that would have made any difference whatsoever. But that's now 3-0 for the German. Definitely showing how much he wants to be in that next stage of the tournament and secure top 3.
And Kilson's been keeping the timing between the items fairly comfortable so that he can take them at will, making it even more difficult for ZeRo4 to get in and do any sneaky damage. But these rails are so consistent, and damage it's going to be ZeRo4 killing himself with the rocket. 77% rail at this point, almost 4 minutes in.
ZeRo4, he should have been continuing to pile the pressure then. He had Kilson down to 87 health. Problem is, though, if you don't spawn next to a good weapon, then it's hard to really justify the attack.
Yep.
But now it feels like he's just got crumbled back into having another 30 to 60 seconds where he's got to try and regain control. He's not... Oh, he does get onto the Mega platform. Thought he'd failed that for a second, but Kilson continues to land a rail.
What? I thought that LG would have pushed him off completely, but I guess he was able to curve back onto it, so that keeps him alive a little bit longer. So now we have split items and split timing, which means that the focal point is this yellow armor. Are we going to be seeing ZeRo4? No, he's actually back over in Mega. He's not entirely sure where Kilson is. Not paying attention to the yellow. Maybe he should be. He's got rail here, and he's got the top of the map, but he's going to be a little bit noisy. He needs to watch very carefully as he enters in here, because, yeah, Kilson is looking for him, and he's going to get that rail.
I'm wondering still, what is Kilson's accuracy on that railgun?
It was 77. Now it's only 75.
Oh,
sorry, he's dropped a bit.
Yeah, that was. It was 5 impressives now, and yeah. We can just continue to hog this.
Just hold that down for the rest of the match. Yeah. All right, but almost halfway through here.
God, come on, Kilson.
It was a decent rocket, but ZeRo4 still needs to pick himself out of the negatives.
5-minute warning.
And even the rocket fights from Kilson are being a bit of a problem for ZeRo4 here.
He's not really renowned for his rockets at all, but he's making very, very good use of them at the moment. And ZeRo4 is going to be hating life while Kilson continues to land all the wells he's landing.
That was the perfect moment for Kilson to push out and try to get some damage. If he had allowed 3 more seconds to elapse, that meant that ZeRo4 could decide which item to run to, and Kilson would have to react to that. But doing some damage means that he could be proactive, and that means he gets both items.
Now, it looked as if ZeRo4 in the previous map was so much better at... Okay, well, hold on a second. There's going to be a rail to finish the job there, 4 to -1. I want to say that ZeRo4 looks so much better at countering this solid rail that Kilson has, but he's not able to even escape it at the moment. ZeRo4's good rockets. He's in the air, almost the air rocket.
There have been so many very close air rockets, just, you know, 1 unit away from just colliding with Kilson, but I think Kilson had time to get that rail out anyway, so it would have been impressive, but Kilson still would have picked up that 5th frag.
It was going to be a mutual frag at the very best. Oh, the direct got, there we go, off the negatives, and he's given himself a chance to get in the game here. And he's right next to him. Kilson, can he still get the frag on this one? He has the rail, but cannot find the final pixel of the German's face.
Oh man, that's so rough for ZeRo4 because he knows that, all right, Kilson probably wants to run back over to 50, but if I leave to chase him right now, he can double back and take over the spread. So ZeRo4 was in a bad spot, taking a lot of damage on that red as well. Going to be coming back in for the Mega and hoping to cut him off here, but being incredibly noisy about it. I'm not sure he's going to get the drop on Kilson here.
No, it's a battle for the items at this point. He wants to be getting that next red armor and just get a bit of security and stabilize a little bit. That 5 frags, that can wait another 20 seconds or so. Just needs to make sure that he is comfortable. And he's found Kilson. His first rocket was bad, but he's trying to fight back, and he is on the board properly now. 1 to 5.
All right,
he finally gets the LG.
Be a little bit weak. There's nothing coming up for a little bit, so at the moment, Kilson... Oh, Kilson rocket jumping? What was that? Yeah, okay.
So he's sheepishly going around the map, hoping that he can get these resources quickly without taking too much damage. And the Mega ZeRo4, he's not there at all.
No.
He went for the red armor instead, took a pretty nasty rocket.
So they're going to be fairly even at this point, both in terms of stack and awareness of where the other guy is. So ZeRo4 is going to be looking for a few pot shots on the top, trying to smoke out Kilson and find some dings. Oh, he's got sights on him at the very least, and Kilson doesn't commit to the jump pad just yet. That's a solid rocket. They're both in the cubby.
Oh my god.
Oh, I was expecting at least a mutual frag, but Kilson pulling out of that with 72 health. He can now go up for this Mega pretty safely, unless ZeRo4 decides to show up with LG. Almost. He's got plasma there.
I don't think if he's actually moved over to the LG just yet, so he's hoping for the best of it. Pretty nasty rocket from Kilson. And it is an interesting sort of strategy that Kilson's using in that red room. He's like, normally people just wait for the other to escape, or they just spam rockets. Kilson just walks in.
Yeah.
He's like, screw it. And he's been getting these perfect pop rockets that have just destroyed ZeRo4's movement and causing him to do more self-damage more than anything else, really.
Jeez, and yeah, I think one more solid rocket from Well, yeah, that'll do it, yeah. I think that'll be the last hurrah from ZeRo4, at least here on Cure, which will put Kilson on match point.
Definitely a valiant effort from ZeRo4, just giving up a few too many frags early on. When he was able to start fighting control versus control, it was a lot closer. Kilson going down to 50% rail, 15 out of 30. Not able to pad his stats any further, but yep, 7-0. It's a little closer than it really looked, but I think the rail at the beginning was 70+%. I mean, you're looking at having a really hard time at that point.
What do I even do at that point? You know, it's like
ZeRo4 just wasn't able to counter it the same way he was able to during the beginning of Hektik. If Kilson's able to continue with this confidence and his aim especially, then I'm also worried about him and the next opponent if ZeRo4 is going to be as easy as it has been in the last 2 maps.
Well, hopefully for ZeRo4 he can put up a bit more fight here. Looks like we're going over to...
We should be going
Bloodrun
over to
Intel.
Bloodrun.
Yeah, a bit of Blue Run, yeah.
And this is the pick from ZeRo4. Kilson is also extremely strong on this map, so I don't know, major advantage or inherent advantage for either player. But hopefully ZeRo4, I mean, he's been playing fantastically. Unfortunately, we probably haven't seen enough games of his on stream. I was happy enough to get him versus Phrase, in fact, because that was amazing to watch. But can he continue to take it to the next level?
All right, well, Bloodrun is going to be a bit more of a old school map. Of course, one of the oldest school maps, you know, like 1997, you know, is the original ZTN.
That's a long time ago. QuakeWorld guys, almost as old as them.
Almost, yeah. All right, so ZeRo4 reconnecting here. We're going to be seeing them ready up pretty soon, but yeah, this puts Kilson on match point. Do
you think he's going to get it?
I don't know. Kyr's such an odd duck, really, because while there are, you know, corners where you can force somebody into a fight, getting somebody into that corner ends up being the hardest thing. Here, we could see a bit more blood, as it were. So here we go. We're going to be having ZeRo4 spawning upper YA, looking for a grab of the red, but immediately Kilson is there with rockets, getting that spawn, taking rockets and rail. He doesn't need resources when he's able to do so much damage output, immediately evening the board once again. And now look at this, Kilson on the mega health. ZeRo4 is going to be looking for a rocket launcher, and he knows he won't be getting it for free. Decent plasma, though.
That was quite good.
That's actually not bad. That's not bad.
But is there going to be pressure on the red straight away? Lower yellow's been taken, and ZeRo4 not really comfortable enough to really assert his dominance on the red, and rightfully so. Kilson's taken it immediately.
But does that mean that ZeRo4 can find a clever way to enter in on this mega, or at least do some damage on it?
I'm not
damage
sure
might be the most he can hope for. Yeah, crossing over here to rocket launcher. Oh, he's not even going to show up. He's
the thing is, he hasn't actually got the LG or the rail still. Kilson's been denying that from him, and that's going to be very well. At least not the LG so much in this instance, but the rail would be.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I blinked and I thought a minute in, surely ZeRo4 has a rail by now, but it's going to be such a critical thing to not have. And Kilson's going to show him exactly why, as he's doing a hefty amount of damage to ZeRo4 as he gets away with the red, but that puts split timing on red and mega, so it's not like ZeRo4 can get a good fight in and potentially get both items.
He just keeps hitting rails. That mega's not up for another 10 seconds. You need to get the hell out of here, and the rockets from Kilson are going to secure him frag number 1. That is the 10-second miss time. I think that's 4 out of 5 rails I would expect so far from Kilson.
I believe so. So he's going to be able to get a clean mega here, and ZeRo4 eating that rail. If he was going to be late to the red armor, now he can't even afford to show up. He's coming through that teleporter even then. He delayed it a little bit, but could not prevent that rail coming out from Kilson. So every step of the way, ZeRo4 has been locked down.
Yeah, the amount of pressure from ZeRo4 just with this aim. I mean, I'm trying to think, like, what kind of strategy can you use against this? I think the only thing is to really go for keep it 1-0 as long as possible. Honestly, top yellow, try to camp out that room, something along those lines. Do not engage in a fight, not until you are 100% certain that you can get that kill. You've got so much time left in the map that you're able to play that patiently. And it would then be on Kilson to actually be proactive and try and look for the frag and push through the choke points if he wants to extend his lead.
Yeah, because to ZeRo4's credit, even for all the hits that he's taken, he's only taken the 2 frags. But yeah, I think you have something there. Being able to stay up top would minimize the amount of advantage that Kilson has with that rail. And even if it comes to a close range fight, it's a fight that, you know, even if he dies, you can probably take off a lot of Kilson's stack. It's more about when he makes that fight happen and whether or not Kilson, having taken that frag, can recover on the red angle. What? Jeez, Kilson, just
absolutely filthy.
Yeah. All right, so now that he's 2 frags in the lead, you know, it's not comfortable by any margin, but it looks like Kilson's starting to dare ZeRo4 to push in on him and try to make another fight happen.
ZeRo4, that's the opposite of what he needs right now. Do not fight. Get 100, 200. And then maybe challenge on the mega, but you know it doesn't have to be absolutely immediate by any means. Well, the rocket's just missing. ZeRo4 having all these almost with the air rockets coming out, but No success right now, and Kilson's actually waiting for the Mega pretty early. Yeah, this is good news now for ZeRo4. He's just got heaps of items. Is he going to pressure the Mega? Does he have the timing enough to do it? Apparently not.
Well, Kilson's just going to be in and out of the Mega, coming back up to yellow armor, and no sight of ZeRo4. It looks like he was actually kind of expecting him to show up, make at least a little bit of an appearance. ZeRo4 is going to be hovering on the grenade launcher platform, trying to make a fight happen here over the red, but his weapon selection is a little bit odd, a little bit late. He's going to get the one rail in, however, so that's something. So 4 minutes in here, ZeRo4. I'm not sure he's being completely aware of how Kilson's routing, but on the same token, I think Kilson's losing ZeRo4 a few times. But they're going to be coming around the corner, but geez, even hitting that rail. Beautiful, finally hitting the air rocket. 2 solid hits. Kilson's going to recover immediately on the 225s and the red armor. So unfortunately, again, that's why I was saying it matters when ZeRo4 decides to just rip loose and try to go, all right, frag or no frag, I'm going to hurt you. But if Kilson can recover immediately, it's going to be bad news. Once again, Kilson's going to be down to 7 health. The 225s won't be available. 50 might be up. Yes, there it is.
Actually, ZeRo4's combat skills have been absolutely amazing. They've been so impressive, but he's always had the timing of the fights just hasn't sat right with him. He's going to be able to get the Mega health now, which is positive, but this is the point of the map. You're halfway. You've got to stop leaking those frags.
Such a nasty way of putting it. But yeah, 4 frags down at the halfway point ends up being a little bit of a tough thing, just because once you can start getting control and start getting those frags, converting those into spawn frags or forcing fights consistently in the latter half becomes a little bit more difficult. So this isn't a place where Kilson can afford to go defensive, but if he does die, he can start to really slow the game down.
Okay, sort of chip damage from ZeRo4. I wonder if he's going to be able to hold on to that Mega. That yellow's going to spawn in a second, which he's able to take. Kilson's LG's been a bit shaky, and he's going to be able to get the frag. There we go. ZeRo4 on the board. He's taken a major item. We've got red spawning very soon.
ZeRo4 is going to have to get incredibly clever here. He knows that Kilson will need to run and try to get some items, but Kilson's also going to be very difficult to get close to with those rails. Well, maybe the one thing he couldn't deny Kilson was the rail.
I think there was one that spawned, or that he left on his grave or something like that.
Yeah.
There we go. We got the jump. I think Rafa tried that the other day, but wasn't successful. And ZeRo4 not expecting him to be there so soon.
Alright, so switching back over to ZeRo4 here. He's the one who has to make these frags happen. But again, anytime that Kilson can do a fadeaway rail and still take away a yellow armor, yeah, this is actually good. If ZeRo4 puts the brakes on a little bit and maybe screws up Kilson's awareness of where ZeRo4 is going to be, that could help. But you know, items would be good too.
The amount of work that went into ZeRo4 getting that frag is just unreal, and he's not able to get it back at this point. Another rail, and this is just
miraculously that actually worked out okay for ZeRo4 because they both left red up. Kilson going, all right, he's going to take red. I'm going to disappear. ZeRo4 saying, nah, we're going to get some damage here.
The rails keep coming out. At least he gets himself that full 100 armor. Does he really want to pressure at this point? How's he going to escape from this? And Kilson even had his gauntlet out for a moment.
So many rockets.
Rail missed. He gets the frag. There's still 4 health. What are you going to do with this? Is that 50 bubble
Where's
up?
The 50? Oh, there we go.
ZeRo4, I think, was half expecting Kilson to be there waiting. The rocket's coming out, though. The LG, is it enough? He's able to get the kill.
Once
3 to 4.
Exactly 50 health is all that he needed.
Why else do you think they call him ZeRo4? Come on.
Oh.
But
I've been waiting for that all weekend.
Oh, the rockets!
No. All right, so this is opened up. Kilson is still going to be a little bit weak. ZeRo4 is going to go. That Mega's going to put us right back to where we were. Well, he might need to rename himself 3-5 if things stick the way they are. Oh, Kilson missed a rail.
This is good. We can
he's
highlight.
actually been missing a few. He's down to 53.
Put this in a compilation. Right, the thing is, he's missing rails, but he's getting items, and ZeRo4 is going to have to scarf from here.
Actually,
I think he's railable, so
flirting with that jump pad. I'm not sure I like this angle because Kilson, once he has the moment to set up for the rail, he's going to do it. Also closing in. It was like, all right, if I miss the rails, no big deal. I'll close in with my last rocket and finish him off. Didn't need it, though. And so now, once again, he's got a comfortable 3-frag lead.
And with 2 minutes now as well, it's, the pressure is massively on. ZeRo4, he's performed amazingly this map, but you know, every time he's got this frag with the 4 HP remaining, that's just not enough. Yeah, and you need to be getting on items straight after, and it's the timing of the fights. It's almost good of Kilson to have died in those circumstances because he's able to defend that lead afterwards.
That was a lot of lightning gun that ZeRo4 just put out, though, so Kilson's going to be a little bit early on this red, and he's not quite going to get punished. Does ZeRo4 have again, every time I look at ZeRo4, he doesn't have a rail.
There we go. He found it now,
Get a rail. It's good for you. All right, so 3 on 6 now, but yeah, he's running out of time to make this happen, and once again, it's very difficult to churn out these frags quickly. ZeRo4 has a stack, though. If he can make this next fight cleanly, then he can keep his pressure on.
Rockets are pretty solid, but likewise for Kilson, and he's going to be able to defend himself there, putting him up to 7-3, hitting another rail, almost gets the second one.
ZeRo4 hasn't given it up, though. He still thinks that he's in miracle territory, but that, just as I say that, that's going to be, GG.
No more miracle territory.
It's a good way to finish off the match. Very good games.
Very valiant effort from ZeRo4. He put up a good fight versus Kilson, but it is going to be the 3-0 sweep, ultimately, which puts Kilson in top 3 territory at QuakeCon 2016. That means in not too many moments, he's going to have Evil to go versus next. But a brilliant series anyway. Even though it was a 3-0, I felt that was enjoyable, and we saw ZeRo4 putting an excellent fight up. Hektik was fun. I mean, the whole lot was good.
Absolutely. We've seen so many different play styles this tournament. These guys have obviously met at QuakeCon several times before. Yeah. This is the 20th anniversary. After all, we've been playing Quake Live for a very long time. The amount of respect you see between all the players, both in-game and out, there's actually relatively little cussing in there and cursing. A little less
as soon as they got rid of phrase, it was all fine. But otherwise it's been very tame.
Tame's one word. I think tame is maybe a little bit strong, but respectful is the thing.
Yeah, definitely.
Even Sparty, who is usually more than happy to take whatever place he gets to and then go, all right, cool, it's time to turn the Sparty party up. I think he's been taking this tournament very, very seriously, which made me
he definitely has
a little heartbroken.
I think he's going to be disappointed that it's played out the way it has, where Kilson lost in the winner bracket versus FaZe. It's just where it made that discrepancy with the seedings. So even though Sparty was seeded 4th in the tournament, he went out 5th, 6th because well, FaZe and ZeRo4 were able to sneak in some pretty solid victories there. Yeah. And yeah, obviously Kilson eliminating from the event. But
on the same token, it's very difficult because none of these guys can play by the book, as it were. You know, they have to play their opponent. They have to get inside each other's heads, and you can see them double guessing their opponent, double guessing themselves. That's what we saw with Evil in the upper bracket final, and he has another couple chances to turn things back around. They both do.
Yeah, no, completely. But what what's going to be happening next is we're going to take a short break, because I believe we are going to be having Evil, who is holding on to. I'm being noise in my head is telling me there's an interview coming up.
The noise.
I don't know who the interview's going to be with. I think maybe we're going to be getting Kilson to talk a little bit ahead of going up against his game versus Evil. Corrections being made in my mind.
What's your strategy? Don't miss rail. Yeah.
But I think Kilson's going to be feeling a bit more comfortable. He's now the relief of not going out in 5th, 6th as well, and also not going out 4th. His vision is, let's go grand finals, let's go all the way.
So
he doesn't, you know, even though people on paper will say, well, Kilson, he's got no business being in the top 2 or top 1, he doesn't care. He wants it. That's the only reason he's here, is to win.
So real talk now.
Real talk.
Judging from what we saw from Evil and Rafa, and judging from what we saw just now with Kilson playing the way he was, how much of a chance is there that Kilson could be fighting for more than 3rd?
I think it's reasonable, actually. I think that's a very reasonable expectation. I think Evil, I mean, Rafa was talking about how Evil plays against the player and things like that. I think maybe there's some nerves as well.
I think I'm trying to figure out if Rafa Evil was more Rafa's fault and Kilson ZeRo4 was more ZeRo4's fault.
I think Kilson was hitting really hard.
Kilson was incredible.
Yeah, if he can keep the aim up as well and keep that pressure, that's something that Evil finds it a little harder to deal with. Because although Evil's aim is amazing,
too many
it's
bad situations. You know, there were relatively few times when ZeRo4 was able to find him and force him to a fight that Kilson at least didn't completely demolish him in. So we'll see. All right, but I think we're going to hear it from the man himself.
Yes, we are. We have Kilson here at the interview in the interview seat. So it was a 3-0, but by no means was it an easy match.
Not at all, actually. I mean, he did put quite some pressure into the match, like almost on every single map, actually. Since, I mean, he's such an experienced player, I think even the most experienced out of all. And you could really feel that, especially on a map like Bloodrun. Yeah, he knows that, like, since for so long. So he always tried to do the right thing, to stack up, to get into the game, but yeah, just cut his ways at some point, so not letting him get any more, and yeah, just totally paid out in the end.
So you don't have, I guess, or do you have a huge amount of experience playing him? I don't think you do, unless I'm mistaken.
Yeah, of course, I do too. I mean, first event being like 2004, so yeah, of course, that's quite a lot of experience, but at that time, he's already been at the top, so there's a little edge.
The tables have turned. Yeah, so I mean, with such a wealth of history and all the experience, I mean, he's kind of one of the original legends. So I guess it must feel pretty awesome to face him in a tournament. Because again, as you said, the guy never really seems to be out of it. So it must be pretty interesting to actually play against him. And did you expect the map pool or the map vetoes to go in the way that they did? Was everything to your expectation, or did he make things a little bit complicated?
I mean, I've been surprised by his first pick, Hektik. I'm really happy to have that one, actually, since, yeah, the playstyle on that map kind of changed, and it does not suit my style like that very well. And yeah, at some point I just run away with, with my aim, and just out-aim him, literally, in the end, so can call myself a little lucky on that one, I'd say. But the rest, I mean, I know that he likes to play Bloodrun, so he played, I think, like every single match he had like Bloodrun in it. So I've been sure about that. But my picks being more like on the maps I feel comfortable with, and also like, yeah, newer maps, let's call it, like Cure and Sinister, where he doesn't know a few angles. So I just took that to my opportunity in the end.
So when it comes to just playing Quake Live, obviously we don't have a huge amount of tournaments these days. So is it really hard to actually stay in shape? Because on the first day of play, we saw a different Kilson. I mean, we expected today's Kilson because we know how good you can be. But so what was the difference that you made there? Because it was very, very different from my perspective. You looked a little bit indecisive. You weren't hitting your shots on day one. But today you looked fantastic.
I mean, it really needed, yeah, like a couple of games to really get into it, like find my game, and just from that point on kept on going and even step up a little, like get into the LAN feeling. That's just something totally different than when playing online. Most likely with the Russians in Europe, that's the way it is. But yeah, it's quite difficult to get like decent practice these days. I mean, we have the Sunday Cup, but I mean, to be fair, the amount of players we have, like the top players, getting less and less, so yeah, it's quite difficult to practice like the really good competition practice. And yeah, I mean, the first day, I mean, you really had to get used to this klima, like inside the room.
And also the mouse pad, you're telling me?
Yeah,
some issues there?
Exactly, that's just the point I would like to go to. To the klima inside the room. It's quite cold in there, so really have to get used to that. And there's also a fact, when you go like outside and then come back inside, your skin kind of changes a little because of the cold air in the room, and that's gonna make your arm like stick on the mouse pad. So that made it quite impossible to be as accurate as I've been usually. And that's just been the main problem. So I just took, since yesterday and even after the game against Phrase, just a towel to clean my arm and to have it dry, like super dry, and yeah, everything paid out in the end.
Sometimes when I have sweaty hands, I use antiperspirant as well. Because playing with sweaty hands is terrible also. The Quake problems, or just general competitive gaming problems. So after that match and the form that you're in, I feel like you have a really good shot at Evil in this current form. And Evil's been playing well, of course. He did lose to Rafa, but I think some people would have expected that. How do you feel going into that matchup? Because you will have a lot of experience playing against him from all the online cups and so on.
Yeah, I mean, the past matches we played, like most likely in the 125 FPS Sunday Cups, he's been running away, like most of the times, away from everyone in the field. But I really think, yeah, I got a good feeling right now. Got a good confidence about my aim, about how I'm playing, not wasting like too much, not giving up too much frags. So I think I really can have a shot this time against him.
And so what would it mean to you to actually be able to make the finals? Because playing on the stage actually is quite a unique experience, I think, at QuakeCon, because the fans here of Quake, it's just something you won't get anywhere else in the world, I think.
Yeah, that's just like the main goal, actually, to be at the main stage, like in the grand final. Once in my career, I would just love that to end like the Quake Live career. Since after we mostly won't have any tournaments going on anymore.
Absolutely. Well, what are you doing with your regular life now? Because it's not all Quake. I mean, everyone who plays Quake still competes, like ZeRo4 as well. We're all a bit older, so what's a regular life like for you?
Regular life, I mean, pretty much it's about my girlfriend and my son, of course. But also you gotta work. So doing that most likely, around Kilson finally. So yeah, turning it more and more into a brand.
That's very cool.
So. Yeah, also having partnered, as you can see on the left and right, with Lenovo and NVIDIA, who are helping me a lot, actually. And yeah, hope things just move further and further, and just waiting for the great game to come, like Quake Champions. Hopefully it's gonna be awesome, and they might have some dual ideas that would just be great. I'm not sure how it's gonna look like in the end, so I'm really excited about that.
Yeah, fingers crossed, we're hoping for the best. Well, thank you very much for the interview, and good luck in your next match. So guys, it is time to get to that match very shortly, but first we'll have a throwback to the casters, and I think we'll just try to set it up immediately. So much more Quake action to look forward to.
Absolutely, cheers for that, Dan, and nice one, Kilson. I think we are going to be actually heading over to a quick break very shortly ahead of Kilson's match versus Evil. Awesome to hear that he's feeling confident going into this one. You know, I think personally I'm backing his confidence as well. Definitely think that he's got a shot at that match, and if he's able to retain that aim that he's been displaying versus ZeRo4, then Evil will definitely, I think, reduce his own confidence over the end.
We'll have to see. It'll be very interesting for certain. More interesting than I'll happily admit than I was expecting.
Well, we'll find out about that very soon. We've got a very short break, guys, and we'll come back with that game momentarily.